Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up guys, Megan Ross here giving you the AEW of the Week review. So we will break down all of Dynamite and Collision, and if anything of note happens in Rampage, I kind of highlight it, but we mainly focus on Dynamite and Collision. So let's roll straight into it. If you see me looking to the side, it's because I'm just glancing over my notes like I normally would. So we open with the AEW World Champion going against Daniel Garcia. This match was really awesome to open the show and could have been like the main event of the night as well. And for me, it just showed off that Daniel Garcia is still in the conversation to be this kind of new talent that could usher in a new championship reign, kind of one of the new faces of AEW when some of the bigger talents start looking at towards the end of their tenure. And he is just still a great pro wrestler, even though he's been doing this sports entertainer gimmick for so long, and it's kind of still stuck with him because the whole dancing has gotten so over with him. Either way, I think this is a great match. Once again, MJF still gets the win because this is to still build up the feud of Jay White versus MJF in the Full Gear pay-per-view that we have coming up. We then get Mark Briscoe versus Switchblade Jay White. This match was also awesome. Perfect match for what you want to see out of Mark Briscoe and Jay White, with his very unique style of slowing down the pace of a match to fit his style. The help of the Bullet Club always being there as well. And you see Mark Briscoe doing a lot of his signature style to wrestling with what he did in the tag division, but he is still making it work solo now. So it was awesome to see. We see Jay White getting the win here, and then it seems like they were going to cut a promo, but MJF snuck in from behind, knocks them all out one by one, with the ring in his hand, and then we see the two of them go back and forth, have a little bit of a stare down to MJF was stating, "Mark my words, I'm going to make your life hell, and I'm making sure I walk out still your champion," because he is now the longest reigning champion. We then go into a very interesting match of the night. For me, arguably a dream match, having Samoa Joe versus Keith Lee. The chants were there, the meaty men slapping meat, the holy meat, anything you could think of that they would refer to, the chants were there for it. The problem I had with this match is Keith Lee very much needs momentum right now. They're not really using him as much as I want them to, and that kind of was the issue here. Samoa Joe won to make him look strong, which makes sense, but the problem being this was for the championship belt of the Ring of Honor Television Championship, to Samoa Joe retained, to then just straight away vacates it after, and says the reason he's vacating it is so he is prepared to get the AEW World Championship, which doesn't make sense to me because AEW have been promoting double champions. Look at MJF as your perfect example. He is Ring of Honor Tag Champion as well as your AEW World Champion, so I don't get why Samoa Joe couldn't be both, unless he's doing this as a motivational drive of, well, I've done enough with this championship and I'm not going to have enough drive or enough hunger unless I don't have any belt around my waist. Maybe, but we will see. I just feel like this is a shame to Keith Lee. I feel like Keith Lee could have won this and Samoa Joe could have still looked very strong. Say he lost and he felt humbled in that moment, gave the belt to Lee and says, well, now the hunger is, like, that's awoken the hunger in me again. The next belt I'm going to go for is that World Championship. MJF, mark my words. I feel like that would have been the better setup, but nonetheless, that's what we got. We then have the incredible luchador, high-flying style, and just amazing badass in the ring between Penta and Swerve Strickland. Penta does this incredible, like, running up the full turnbuckles to do, like, a moonsault into a Canadian destroyer is the only way I'd explain it, and Swerve sold it literally like he was just shot across the ring, like someone hit him dead straight on. And the match was incredible, as said, very awesome styles between the pair of them, which would have been expected, and Swerve is just every single time putting on a stellar match after a stellar match. Swerve getting the win, and he has this interesting start towards the reaction of the crowd, and he plays into this as he goes to take Penta's mask off. So it was quickly interrupted by Hangman Adam Page sliding down with chair in hand. He luckily catches up to Swerve Strickland, beats him with a chair multiple times just out of pure anger, and then hits him with the Deadeye through a table. And that spot looked really rough. I don't think the Deadeye fully landed, but Swerve carried on, sold it well, and he didn't look like he got hurt, luckily. But yeah, they really played into Hangman's anger, and it was very interesting because he is meant to be this babyface in this feud, but he attacks some of the security guards. He even got very hostile with some of the refs, and you could just tell he definitely wants to take Swerve out. And this continued with Collision as well, where he said a promo that he is going to make Full Gear a celebration, that Swerve is going to be dead, like he's going to leave him dead in the ring, and he will take, like Hangman will take his son to the graveyard spot on the tombstone and piss on his grave every year. So you know Hangman really had Swerve like rent free in his head and really under his skin, which I loved this. I think this is the perfect way to be with Hangman, really bring out that anger and aggression behind him, and it just builds the story a lot better. We have Red Velvet versus Julia Hart. This is the continuation of the women's storyline that is going on with the TBS, with Chris Statlander and her friends, and Julia Hart kind of corrupting the friends around her. Red Velvet definitely came back with some vengeance and a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. She still showed she can hang with the big spots, the big TV like situations. She had an incredible moonsault, and just the moves she presented, she really showed how clean she can be in the ring. We still got Julia not really holding back either, and she came out on top with a moonsault here. And after the bell rang, we saw what Julia Hart's been doing to quite a lot of the women in the division at the moment, is putting them in a submission hold after the bell, making it look in a lot of pain. We see Statlander and Willow Nightingale both walk down, and also Sky Blue. Sky Blue and Julia Hart have a stare down to Chris Statlander, kind of gets in the middle of the two of them, seeming to try and protect Sky Blue, but Sky Blue didn't look happy about that. And you have Willow looking after Red Velvet, trying to drag Red Velvet out. This now sets up for a match on Collision of Willow Nightingale versus Julia, and I thought this match was also incredible. We had awesome spots of Willow doing the whole Brody King's bark chant that he does directly in front of him. And once again, we have Julia Hart coming on top of that, which I thought very interesting, and I can't wait to see where the rest of this feud now goes. We then have Sting and Darby Allin versus the Outrunners. Not much to really talk about in this one, other than it was great to see the Outrunners get some more TV spot on them, because they have been in a couple of episodes at AEW now, and they are fun to watch in the ring. But it was a simple to put Sting and Darby Allin over as they build into this big Full Gear situation of Adam Copeland, Darby Allin and Sting versus Christian, Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. So, as said, not much to say there. We then get a sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone talking to Tony Storm and Hikaru Shida. This was your very simplistic build to the feud, but with Tony's unhinged antics, you really could see her character play into it. And I love the way she's going very Hollywood, like olden style 80s way of like pronouncing things. She's just making it a lot of fun to watch this character through and through. But yeah, it was an interesting interview. I was more captivated by what Tony Storm had to say than Hikaru Shida, which I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, because Hikaru Shida is your champion, and she didn't really say much in this interview for me personally. We have another tag match where it was the Guns versus the Bollywood Boys. For me, this was quite cool because I recently went to an Impact show, and one of the Bollywood Boys was wrestling on that show against Rich Swann. So it was cool to really like see them a couple weeks after be straight on AEW, and the Guns won in standard Guns fashion with the Guns up and Bullet Club helping them as always. But it was still cool to see, and we hopefully maybe some more Bollywood Boys around. I thought they were quite fun and entertaining, even if it was quite a quick match, and the Guns have been doing this. especially with their lead up to the Ring of Honor tag match they're going for. Whoever MJF finds as his tag partner, because it won't be Adam Cole. We get into Rampage now. The only notable thing of Rampage was that we had the Santana and Ortiz feud finalised there, with Santana winning over Ortiz. I was kind of fine with this. It's a shame that they are separated as a group, because I feel Proud and Powerful were one of the better tag teams in AEW, and it is a shame to not really see them properly get any AEW tag gold or anything like that, and just kind of have them separated. I hope in a future storyline maybe they reunite, maybe Eddie Kingston gets their heads back together, because Eddie Kingston's friends with the pair of them. Who knows? We will see where it goes. We get Daniel Garcia versus Andre El Idolo to open Collision, and having Daniel Garcia open 2 shows in a week, incredible, and he put on a banger between both, so I can't even complain. Andrade looked as good as Andrade always does. Fun things to note here was Daniel Garcia did his iconic dance towards CJ Perry. CJ Perry was on the outside because she is looking to scout someone to be a manager, and with Andrade El Idolo winning the match, it seems like CJ Perry has now picked Andrade, which now leads to the Miro vs Andrade feud. I don't know if you're going to be able to get that done quick enough to be on Full Gear, but I definitely feel like that match would be awesome on Full Gear. Just give them a good 30-minute time limit match, let them go crazy in the ring, and it would be an awesome thing to watch. Miro is great, and so is Andrade, and I'd just love to see it. We then get the new adopted son of Christian being in Nick Wayne versus Dalton Castle. I love Dalton Castle to pieces. He is so entertaining for me. He's one of the main reasons I end up going back and watching Ring of Honor a lot of the times. But we knew Nick Wayne was going to win this. He definitely had to, especially with Christian in his ear a lot. And we saw a really awesome top rope cutter from Nick Wayne, and it's just, yeah, having him have a finisher called Wayne's World, I think is pretty awesome every time that it's pulled off. But yeah, it kind of sucked to see Dalton Castle kind of lose this, but it makes sense because Christian Cage and Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne are arguably one of the biggest main events of Full Gear pay-per-views, so they have to come on a winning streak to kind of build this rivalry of, well, we're both on winning streaks, so we're both shown we're both strong and capable to go against each other. We get Rush and Dralistico versus the Workhorsemen. It is amazing to see the Workhorsemen getting so much more TV spot. I've been saying this for ages. They are a tag team to not be slept on, and it is nice to see that they are getting their recognition. But going against Los Ingobernables, for me, yeah, I knew it was automatically going to be a loss. Rush came with that aggression, and he made it as iconic as his statement is. You mess with the ball, you definitely get the horns. And Dralistico is just awesome to watch as well. I love the kind of merge of Dragon Lee and Mystico to be Dralistico, and he's just been perfect. I think it's one of the most iconic lucha style wrestling we've had in a long time on AEW. At the moment, AEW is really succeeding in their luchador style matches, and I'm fully here for this. And Los Ingobernables, arguably for me, could be probably one of the best factions building up into the next couple of months, as long as they keep them strong and they book them right. And I could see other members potentially joining. It's a bit weird Andrade is kind of separated from them, because he was always kind of with them, but now he's not. So maybe he joins later down the line if this managing doesn't go well with CJ Perry. And we will see. We get Powerhouse Hobbs versus some enhancement talent. We knew where this was going to go. It's Powerhouse easily squashing this. The interesting things to note was Big Show was ringside to build their 8-man street fight that they've got going on, which is sponsored by Yakuza, or it's now being referred to like a dragon, which is pretty cool. I was like, I'm a big Yakuza fan, so I was quite happy that they're literally having a street fight match based on that. Hopefully we get to see some wacky Yakuza style added things. Who knows? But yeah, it was really cool. Big Show just kind of on commentary, just talking smack about Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs didn't care, destroyed the enhancement talent, and they both looked like they were going to fight. Don Callis was kind of egging it on as well. really cool thing to speak about the enhancement talent. I didn't catch their name, sadly, but they did have awesome gear. It was from Invincible, the animated series, and I always love gear that has those comic book or anime references. It's just cool to see, and I like noticing those type of things. So big shout out to that. We then get to the main event of Collision, but just before the main event, Tony Khan comes out with a special announcement. And no, guys, this one actually was quite special. It wasn't just him being like, oh, tickets are now available for one of our big pay-per-views, like how he did with All In. This is a tournament. This is the first Continental Challenge, I believe they're calling it, where it is a round-robin tournament. It will have 2 separate blocks. So it will have Block A and Block B. It'll be a round tournament, and then it'll go into the finals. What's really interesting about this, it's very much a small G1, and they've stated like several different events for it leading up to the December 31st, which will be the finals and will be a pay-per-view, which I believe it's called World's End, which I'm fully here for. I can't wait to watch it. It'll look really cool, especially because it's on the 31st, so it won't be like the 1st of January or anything like that. So if you guys have got the holiday off, there is a pay-per-view you guys can watch at a moderate, decent time and not have to worry about booking work off, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, going into it, the main event was Adam Copeland, Darby Allin and Sting versus The Righteous and Lance Archer. For me, this was a weird choice because knowing the Sting is on his way to retirement, this is like a retirement tour, and he is going to be retiring in Revolution, where he debuted, and that isn't too far away. It's next year. But yeah, I just feel like picking The Righteous to go against him was a wild choice. I'm here for it. I love The Righteous, but it was just weird. The match was very back and forth, your standard things. Adam Copeland doing the hot tag, getting the most big pop of the night. For me, though, I was more invested in Lance Archer because they let Lance Archer be his Suzuki Gun style that he used to be in New Japan. When he walked out, he was punching camera crew and just running about and going absolute madman. He was shouting at the ref, just being like, oh, you can't do your job, everything like that. And for me, it was just perfect. I think it was an awesome match. We got the win for the team of Sting, Darby Allin and Adam Copeland, which was going to be a given. And to finish the show, we see the celebration of Adam Copeland, Darby Allin and Sting get interrupted by Christian's cage music hitting, and then standing at the top of the ramp with Christian holding the belt high and Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus standing strong. They all stare down at each other, and that's how we finish. All in all, this week's Dynamite in Collision was pretty well rounded. I think we had some decent good wrestling. Story progression was there. I'm very much here for the AEW's own version of the G1. I can't wait to see where that actually now lands. But let me know what you guys thought. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.